Hello, welcome to the Box Truck Hustle podcast, where we highlight real stories, real strategies from people moving free freight every day. I'm your host, Telly Arnold, the creator of Straight Connect and the owner of TLA Group. And then I have my co host, my business partner, Sharif.
How are you guys? I'm Sharif Brooks. I've been driving drive-in, flatbed, and now box trucks for over like 25, 26 years now. So glad to be here.
And I have Shanique with Neek Dispatching.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shanique. I am a freight dispatcher. I dispatch almost all equipments. Also, I'm a licensed financial professional.
And we have our special guest, Teresa Shanks, who will introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Teresa Shanks. I'm the owner of Shanks CPA, and I help box trucks owners stop running blind. Basically, my
Mm.
work is about clean numbers, real cash flow clarity, and systems that keeps the business profitable.
Right. So, as a box truck owner, what can you do to help us out? What should we know about Teresa that she can help us with our books that we do not normally know?
Yeah, I think it's important to talk about the core problem. That once we know the problem, we that's a beginning to know the solutions. And a lot of box truck owners don't actually have a revenue problem; they have a clarity problem.
Mm.
And so I think it's important for them to understand how the cash flow works and what is the best tax strategy to put in place in order to scale confidently.
Gotcha. So, we just recently did our tax returns. Of course, I love to hear when people say, I made six figures in revenue. I think the revenue is great to say you made such, the revenue can be made, but to me, it's important to look at what's left after the revenue. Do you help someone look at their books to see where they're overspending or where they could cut back or anything like that?
Yeah, so basically the strategy is to understand your expenses and to itemize and deduct the right expenses, not just the standard expenses that you have on a tax return that you can easily apply on a tax return. Also, it's important to understand the depreciation. So when we work with our clients, basically we make them understand that they should deduct fuel, they should itemize repairs, maintenance, insurance, dispatch fees, tolls. They should not only use the standard deduction because that does not provide the biggest amount of deduction on the tax return in order to be able to get to profitable loss in terms of not paying too many taxes. It's also important to understand Section 1679, understand the bonus depreciation, the MACRS, in order to depreciate strategically and to reduce your taxable income. And another important aspect that I like to talk with my clients with is understanding repairs against improvement, because repairs are deductible right away and improvements are depreciable. So it's important that they label those two expenses the right way so that it doesn't cost them money
Mm.
in the long term. Yeah, so those are also applying per diem the right way or choosing the right entity and based on real profit, because you cannot just apply Schedule C when you're making profit consistently of 4,000 to 6,000. So those are all the parameters that I work with my clients and I help them understand so they can be profitable and get on track to grow the right way.
Gotcha. So one of the ways a lot of businesses set up, they set up as a LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yeah.
you have any insight on I always hear S corp. Am
Yeah.
I correct on that? Okay. You have any insight on like S corp or anything like that?
I mean, usually they're hustlers. So usually when they start and they're just creating a quick $300 LLC and they start running the business. But once you're starting having payroll and once you're having consistent profit, you want to switch to an S corporation because it helps you match your cash flow and it provides you a lot of incentives that an LLC does not provide.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Gotcha. Well, we're still a
That's
LLC.
that's
What is the cost to switch? What is the cost to switch? Is it expensive to switch from a LLC to a S corp? Does
No,
does a
it's
SCPA need to do that, or you could just do it yourself?
No, I mean, you can do it yourself. It's always recommended to use a CPA because they know all the abouts of what's how to file the forms and how to submit them. But what revenue are you currently making?
Our revenue was 104 last year.
Yeah, do you run payroll? Do you have employees?
Not no more. Sharif is contracted on the business. I don't run payroll no more because the payroll fee was too much.
Okay.
It was, yeah,
And the
Yes.
consistency of the employee was not,
yeah.
like, too much.
We
It was too
ran
much.
payroll when we had Lowe's, and I was doing it through there, but it just wasn't. It was too much. The payroll fee with paychecks was ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, I see.
Yeah,
I mean, I will need to look at your books and understand the strategy, short, middle, and long term, before providing any advice. But usually, when your revenue is above 60,000, you should start considering switching to an S corporation.
Okay.
interesting. So
Okay.
what about dispatchers? We talk a lot about trucking companies. What should a dispatcher do? Because they make a nice earning off of the percentages of the loads as well too. They make an earning to be able to take care of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that they have dispatch fees. Do they own trucks? I don't actually have a client that is a dispatcher, so I will need to understand the structure. I will need to understand what needs to be write-off. Do they have, are they tracking miles driven, the fuel cost? Are they owning trucks? Do they need maintenance and repairs distinguishment? Understand that they have dispatch fees. They might have a load board cost. So I don't have a client that is a dispatcher, but if they're running into the same issues which box truck owners are running into, I think that they should consider that as well.
Neek, speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Probably can
Okay.
use your cell phone, your Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But see, I want to talk. I want to talk about. I forget what she called those words. Those expenses. Those the expenses that you can deduct. But also, she was talking about the expenses that companies try to deduct, and you call them what? Luxury? What do you call those expenses?
What you
Repairs
talking
and
about? The
distinguishment.
maintenance?
The maintenance, like when they try to deduct, he put some more speakers in the truck, and now at the end of the year, he's trying to use that as maintenance cost to be deducted. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about when you were saying earlier? She was saying two types of expenses or deduction they try to do.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, if you're doing a repair, you should deduct it right away. If it's an improvement, you should be depreciating it over a period.
Improvements, yes, okay.
Ah. So like say for instance, we had to replace a radiator. That's a mechanical
Improve.
repair. But if we had to replace a seat, that's the difference between the two, right? Or that's
Exactly.
wrong.
Exactly, because basically the improvement improves the value of the property once you do that. So yeah,
Gotcha. Okay. So there's
That's
different
crazy.
okay.
yeah.
But
Gotcha.
that's a health thing too. In your back, we can put that in
The
as
cushion.
maintenance. Yeah, the cushion, health maintenance at the end of the day.
So
We'll
Therese,
debate that later.
go ahead.
It depends on your strategy. Some people use Section 179, some people use the bonus depreciation, some people use MACRS. So it depends really on the vision of the business owner. Is it thinking of refinancing somewhere down the road? Is it thinking of just getting to a taxable loss so he doesn't have to pay taxes? It really depends on the strategy.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. It's not good.
it's not good.
Because the lender, what the lender is really looking at is cash flow. The lender wants to make sure that you're making enough money so you can repay your mortgage or whatever. And the only way that they really have get that assurance is looking at your tax return, because at least you declare that. So you can bring contracts, you can bring, your bank statements. That is still valuable, but really they really put an accent on the tax return, because that's what you file with the state, with the government, and that's how they can really get insurance or assurance that you're actually making money. So if
They
you're
need to
reporting
let
a
that go.
loss, yeah, if you're reporting a loss or a consistent cash flow that is declining, that may not provide the level of safety that they're looking for. That's why when we work with clients, we try to understand, we try to be proactive and understand where they're going down the road so we can provide the right strategy.
So what about a driver? So I know a lot of drivers work as 1099.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what can they do? Should they set up a LLC and be paid that way, or you know
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
issue with the drivers is that they end up paying a lot of taxes at the end of the year, because most of them get paid 1099. And when you get paid 1099, you don't get the deductions, the social security, all of those taxes don't get the withholding, don't get taken out of your paycheck. Like when you have a W-2, you have all those subscript deductions that are taken before you get your the money that comes in your bank account. So when you get a 1099, all the money comes to you. At the end of the year, you end up having owing liabilities and having to pay. So it's rare for drivers to actually get a refund. So what we work is the strategy. It's important that they have the right structure so they know the investments that they can make in order to not have a lot of taxable income at the end of the year. So, for example, if you're a driver and you're thinking that you might want to buy, own a truck sometimes at the end of the year or next year, we can look how you can start renting to own, or put in place some strategies so that we can deduct as much expenses as possible, legally possible, so you don't end up with higher profit or income at the end of the year, so you don't have to pay considerable liabilities or tax expenses.
Gotcha. So do you do bookkeeping?
Yeah, we do bookkeeping. We do bookkeeping, CFO services, tax compliance, advisory, and cash flow projections.
Gotcha.
We also do mergers and acquisitions, because weirdly it's popping. Usually what you see is electrical company, roofing companies that are hot in the M&A industry. But right now you see a lot of hair salons and also trucking and logistic company being integrated in the M&A deals.
Oh, mergers and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Trying to
Gotcha.
stay
So have you
afloat.
ever done one where somebody sold their MC or anything like that? Have you helped somebody when they're sold their authority?
We were actually working on that, but the deal was not made because the financials were not attractive to the buyers. But we were working on getting the books ready because he was trying to exit.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So how long have you been like doing this? Or are you you're not specifically to trucking. You do all types of industries. Gotcha.
No, yeah. Right now I'm working on nonprofits because the 990 deadline is May 15. But I have several clients that are in the trucking industry. I have government contractors, companies that are my client, hair salon, retail, startups. Yeah, we
Mm,
have big range of clients.
sound
Gotcha.
like a lot of cleaning up. I know you have to
Yeah,
clean up a lot and make
yeah,
them face reality on what they're doing. Because I know a lot of them coming there with a lot of egos, huh? You know, coming
yeah,
to you.
yeah. But they're hustlers. So what they out there trying to make money and try to make a living. So they don't
Hmm.
not only thinking about bookkeeping or taxes, or they don't know that they have to make quarterly tax estimates and all of that. And when they're thinking of scale, usually they come to me when they're trying to scale the business. So they're running the business probably 2, 3 years, and they're comfortable, money is coming. They think that because they have money in the bank, they have cash flow. They it's a mess, right? And now when they're thinking of financing, getting a truck, growing the business, they need to have financials in place. They probably didn't run the tax return for the last 2, 3 years. That's when they come. CPA because they need clarity so they can grow. And so I totally understand, and I'm trying to be, I always try to be supportive to explain what are the impact they're probably gonna owe, interest and penalties, but that's okay. We need to put in place a structure that they can have going forward to be able to be sustainable and bring more cash flow into the business.
Yeah, see, that's what with when we first started, I honestly thought that I could handle it all. Like I
Mhm.
was like, "Ugh, I got an accounting degree. I got this. I could do this." And
I
baby, them
told her.
expenses start rolling in, and I wouldn't look at QuickBooks for like weeks. And then I would just start accepting everything. I was like, you know what? Accept. It's clean. And I went through this training called Booming Black Business. And I went through this training. And then at the end, I sat with a CPA. And well, they asked, like, what was your goal? And I was like, I want to learn how to do QuickBooks. Like, I know I could do this. So I think I paid her about $2,000 to clean my books because they were a mess. Cleaned her, and she cleaned my books. And after that, I was like, okay, they clean. I could take over. So I took a QuickBooks class, and that's when I realized this is not for me. This is not for me. And sometimes as a business owner, you have to realize what is for you and what is not.
What
I
is
have an
not?
accounting degree, but no, it was not for me. So I ended up the class I went to, they showed us how to find certified QuickBooks bookkeepers, and that's where I hired one. I was like, I can't do this.
Mm,
And she
yeah,
keeps my books clean.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to know the basics. You also need to understand that, especially for truck owners, that the cash flow needs to be reviewed weekly, if not monthly,
Mhm.
because it's a high risk. It's not just your normal business, normal schedule C. That's a high risk business. So you need to have visibility on all of those. You need to have visibility on fuel cards, tolls, ELD subscriptions, dispatch fees. You need to have visibility on all of that in order to know if you're making money per miles driven. Yeah.
Do you ever look at their expenses and help them to calculate their cents per mile that they need to be making per each load?
Yeah, we do that, and also we can project. So we help them understand what's the cost per mileage, taking into consideration the fuel cost, the dispatch fees, the miles driven, and all of that. And then we help them project, so they know how much profit they can make in the next following months, and how soon they will be able to purchase another equipment.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. I
Sound
I
like
haven't.
a professional cheerleader. You know what I mean? You know, coaching them all the way up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's kind of what we do when I look at our revenue each month, and I'm like, this is what we made last month. We need to make more.
How do you make more?
That's why I'm like, everything there's I mean every month there's like, I don't want to sound negative, but like last month we had some mechanical issues. This month we was like, all right, we good. Then the blitz, there's a 3-day blitz happening right now with
Yeah.
DOT, is going on right now, so we're sitting until blitz is over. And then we'll run for a couple of more weeks, and then Sharif will come in for a little bit and then go back out.
Come in for maintenance, then leave back out. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
got it.
So I think as a CPA, I think it's always good to, like, communicate to the owners or even a dispatcher or a driver if you have those type of clients in trucking, because our stuff moves so quick. I mean, look at the fuel. The fuel costs change so fast, and we had to like adjust like what we were negotiating. We had to ask for more money.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to deal with as
Put
far as
more
trucking.
pressure. And
Yeah.
one thing I decided, stop. I have more passion because it's my company. So you know, I use this to show my son I'm putting more time out. To try to get consistent revenue coming in instead of the breaks
Yeah.
as much. So I put it on myself to be out here a little longer than the average driver would, just so we can try to catch up faster and stuff like that. So, um,
Yeah.
hopefully that
Yeah.
pays off. The
Yeah.
consistency of revenue.
Yeah, exactly. And also you need to separate your business, the business money coming in from your personal
Yes, ma'am.
account. Yeah. Because a
Hmm.
lot of drivers, especially drivers, they will spend business, they will make business expenses with the personal account. They will receive payments, 1099 payments on the personal account, and that doesn't help with clarity coming.
No, we have it definitely. We have a business bank account. It's separate.
Yeah,
Separate. Only time Sharif really swipes the business bank account is literally is for the business.
like
Is
oil,
oils,
or something like that.
fuel, little parts for the trucks.
Yeah,
It's real. If he has to get a hotel, he might have to do it then. But it's rare. I
yeah,
definitely don't use it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we keep that separate.
that's best practices. Yeah.
yeah. I try
But when
not
I
to.
think back to a dispatcher, I'm going to go back to that topic.
Okay.
Um, so as far as like dispatchers, when they're doing like their expenses, should they do like a QuickBooks? Should they be, because they get paid when we pay them sometimes through. I used to pay my dispatcher payroll. She was getting paid through payroll.
Okay.
Yeah, she was set up as 1099 contract, but it was going through paychecks. That way I could have everything tracked
Okay.
and then I could the 1099, all that good stuff. But I guess when I think about a dispatcher, should they not? I mean, I'm assuming, Nick, do you have like a separate business bank account where you track like all your expenses and all of that, and then you have all of that? You can run your reports at the end of the month and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I have a business account that I accept Zelle
Mm-hmm.
or ACH. Then I have Square. Square comes with a lot of expense. So Square, they do all the reports, all that I make for the year, and then I take that off to my tax.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll definitely recommend having a software like QuickBooks where you can have visibility. This is how much revenue I made. This is how much I spent on office supplies or other expenses that you might have, dispatch fees or other, repairs and maintenance that you might have. Everything that you can deduct in order to have a comparison. So what is also good to have is month to month comparison. You can see what's fluctuating. You can see what needs, how much money you made this month from this provider or this client, and how much money you can compare all of those reports in order to have visibility. It's still very good to have QuickBooks because you can pull the financial statements. If you own properties, if you have any assets, you can pull the balance sheet. You can have that clarity into your business instead of just keeping a spreadsheet. And it's actually better if you can just hire a bookkeeper or a CPA to help you with those reports and making sure that you're doing the right things, that you actually have clean books, and that you have real clarity on the profitability that you're making on your business.
So one question, Teresa, when you set up your LLC, you have to have, what is it called? A representative. Is that what it's called? Like somebody can get something on your behalf? Am I? Well, I can't think of the name of it.
A
Uh,
registered agent,
a
registered.
registered agent. Do you really need a registered agent? Me and my friend were just talking about it because she had the fee come out of her bank account. And I was like, do we really need a registered agent?
You do. You cannot open an LLC in the United States without having a registered agent. But the registered
I
agent,
told her.
yeah, you can't. You need a registered agent. But the registered agent is not a member, it's not an employee. It's just someone to receive your mails. For example, if you get served, someone wants to sue you, they need someone that will actually receive the mail and make sure that so that they can confirm that you got served. So consider the registered agent like a physical place where they will find someone during business hours to deliver important mails that you need to receive for your business. So it's not an employee, it's not a member of your company, it doesn't have an actual job description or position or role, but it's someone that is just For example, in Wyoming, you have several states out there where they are not actually doing business in that state, but they, because of the tax profits that they get from opening an LLC in those states, for example, Series LLC or all of those types of LLC, they are opening a business there, and you have specific businesses that the business model is just to act as a registered agent for a company that wants to open a business in that state. And like I
Mm.
said,
Gotcha.
it's not a member, it's not an owner, it's just, let's say, an assistant type of person that for which the whole role is to receive mail that you might get from the IRS or someone that wants to sue you or
Gotcha.
something else.
That's important to know.
Hmm. Oh, okay, I see. Huh.
They was
Was
using
it
the
a
same
PO box?
agent.
Yeah.
Was it a virtual address? Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Enough
Gotcha.
Who
states.
does that?
Big corporations and people that
Mm,
actually want to own companies and they don't want their identity to be, those are
mm,
public
mm.
public documents. So they want to avoid the public knowing that they own the company. That's why they go to those specific states and they have.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. I know a registered agent cannot be a PO box. It needs to be a physical address. Now you have PO boxes. You can open a PO box and you will receive a physical address, but actually they just changed the description to act like a physical address. It's actually still a PO box. So maybe that's what the software flagged. I'm not
Mm,
sure. Yeah, I
mm,
know you have companies out there that are just acting as registered agent, and that's where all the revenue comes from.
mm.
Mm.
That's good to know. We
Gotcha.
might need to do an
Well,
investigation.
we have a registered agent. I was just wondering. I was like,
But
do
where
I have a
is it?
registered?
Where is it? We need to find that out.
I
It might be
probably do.
profitable. You
Mm.
know, have it in Alaska.
Can a where you have, because when I set up the virtual address, I had to sign an affidavit and all that stuff. I'm assuming that would be my registered agent. I don't know. I might need to check that out because I did
Yeah.
it a long time ago. My LLC for TLA Group was set up 14 years ago by a CPA. So I wonder, do I have a registered agent? I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
they did a good work. They're CPAs.
Yeah, he did it like 14. It was set up in 2014, but I don't know. But one question, Teresa. So I
Uh-huh.
just recently launched a platform called Straight Connect.
Mhm.
There's no revenue coming in,
Mhm.
no revenue. Only money is going out.
Mhm.
How does that work? It is a
Just.
LLC. I have a registered agent.
Mhm. You
I
still
know
need
on
to
the
file
15th
tax
I got
return.
to file something.
Yeah, you still need to file your tax return. Yes.
Well, I didn't because I didn't have no revenue.
Yeah, revenue on that, and I made a video on that recently, and that was actually for non-profit, I believe. Yeah, but revenue or not, you still need to file your tax return.
You need to file a tax return and you ain't even, it's just a LLC set up, but nothing happened.
Was there any activity during the year
Not until May.
2025?
It's
What?
set.
Okay. So
All I
if.
did was set it up in November. I mean,
Mhm.
October. It's set
Mhm.
up.
Mhm.
Nothing was going on, like nothing. We had to work on building the platform. So, only thing I did, which happened in April, which is find the verification software. I opened up a business bank account. Any money I put in came from my little $20 from my personal account. And now this year is actually where I'm spending money. Actually, in May is when I started spending money out for the verification software. There was nothing going on.
Okay, so I have a good news for you. If you look at your article of incorporation, you will see the first date. So the date where you need to file your first tax return. Since you open it in November, it's probably gonna be next year, 2027. That's when the first tax return is gonna be due. Check your article of incorporation and then we can talk. So that's a good news. Since you filed it in November, you won't have you didn't have to file it. Even the IRS know that you don't have to file it in 2026, but the first one is due next year.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I kind of figured. Like next year, that's when.
Mhm.
But yeah, I have to look at the articles. But it
Yeah,
wasn't until it was either October or November of 2025.
yeah,
Nothing was happening until really May 1st when I triggered when I had to pay some. And I actually got a check from Frost Bank. I want to say March or April, which deposited into the account, and now that money is being used for the verification of the platform.
yeah. So
Yeah.
review those three documents: certificate of formation, certificate of filing, and article of incorporation. You will see when your 1065 is due.
Okay. Well, IRS didn't happen this year. I could tell you that right now. It did not happen. Yeah, it did not happen. But yeah, so I don't know if you know much about the platform, but I will be looking for people to do training. So I don't know if this would be something you'd be interested in where you can train people on, you know, bookkeeping or,
Do's and
and of
don'ts.
course, share your services.
Yeah,
Because people I think it's important to know when you start your trucking business that it's just as important to have a bookkeeper as it is to have fuel, as it is to have maintenance, to make sure your books are right. Because trust me, I learned the hard way when all of those things were coming in QuickBooks, and I was just accepting it and just letting it go. So I definitely want to contact you know me back up with you as I'm building out the platform to see if you want to be able to do like some type of training or anything like that.
yeah. I would love to be part of the vision. And like I like to say, if you can't measure it, if you can't measure it, you can't scale it.
Mm,
Okay?
Okay,
mm.
If you can measure it, you can scale it.
that's
They
true. That
all
is,
they all have the same pain points. You start as a hustler, but then you need to have structure. So you
Mm.
can start working as a CEO.
Got you.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Well, we definitely need structure. I'm trying to scale other ways, not trucks. That is
Yeah.
not no, that's not
You told
my
me that last time. You told me that you were not going to
yeah.
scale this business. Yeah.
They stress me. I think Sharif finally sees the vision. We want to do, I would love to scale without us owning the trucks. That would be what I
See,
would
what
like.
scares me is you go from getting money to doing it the commission way. That commission way is stressful.
Mm,
That's a stressful thing. That's hopes. You got to get stuff going. That's the only anxiety on that I have.
yeah.
You know.
With any business is anxiety. When you're starting any business, I think for me, the biggest stressor for me is the mechanical bills. Yeah, the mechanical bills. They're not like, ooh, $300, ooh, $1,000. No, they like
Hmm.
$3,000.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, thousand
That's why you
dollars.
need to see your cash flow because you can definitely see if you can afford it or if you need to install the services or the repairs. You need to see, you need to have visibility because growth requires a system.
I see our bank account.
No, that's the wrong thing to see when you're talking about cash flow. That's the wrong thing to see.
Yeah, yeah. She
That's the
she see
wrong
that
thing.
every morning.
Every
Uh,
day I'm looking at that bank account.
no,
What I mean, when you say looking at the cash flow, what should you be looking at? Let's
at the
talk
cash
about
flow
that.
statement. You need to look at the cash flow statement. Yeah. You can be looking at the bank account because the bank account doesn't tell you what expenses are coming. It doesn't tell you how much fuel you need to pay or how much you need to pay in tolls or dispatch fees. It doesn't tell you that. Your cash flow statements actually tell you how much money you getting in your pocket and how
Hmm.
much money you can reinvest. Yeah. And I highly recommend drivers to get into real estate because they have so much revenue that can be reduced And so at the end of the year, I have so many drivers that report a profit and they have to pay enormous amount of taxes just because they don't know where to reinvest the business. And so I like to talk to them about exit strategies, even though they like to drive the truck and that's all they're seeing right now. They need to think about when the body won't be able to make money for them. And
Correct.
that's also very important. Yeah, yeah.
You do IUL, Neek? Sharif needs to schedule a call with you because I have been looking on Facebook where I see truckers IUL. You do truckers IUL or just IUL? Okay. Well, I see it on Facebook. Maybe they just call it that to get people enticed. uh, well, I definitely need you and Sharif to talk about insurance because he needs all the insurance. As he gets older. I'm talking for him. He's just sitting there just letting me talk. So he quiet.
Yeah. But see, what
um,
what she don't understand is the trucking part gives her the reputation to do straight connect to do it because
yeah,
they see you moving. You
yeah,
know, if the truck part wasn't going, you wouldn't have the credibility to even say anything about the trucking part. You
I
know,
agree.
so that has to always be, especially if you're in the business period, especially the platform is still the business and you got to stay in it, especially as it grows, because you got to
Mhm.
stay in the trenches of it.
Industry. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I totally agree. I mean, if it wasn't for us starting a trucking business, none of the pot this wouldn't be thought of, or Straight Connect wouldn't have been thought of without starting that trucking business. I just want people to avoid what we went through. So, Teresa, as we get ready to wrap up, is there anything you want listeners to take away from this show today?
Yes. I would tell them track real expenses. Don't just use the standard mileage to deduct your expenses. Use actual expenses. Track real expenses. Also, use depreciation strategically. Get with a CPA, get with a tax EA, use Section 179, use bonus depreciation, use depreciation strategically. Uh, What else? Separate your business account with your personal account because you cannot grow mixing and matching those accounts. That doesn't help with clarity and it definitely doesn't help with control. Classify repairs and improvement. Distinguish between those two because repairs you can deduct right away. Improvement you'll be able to depreciate during the time frame and apply the per diem accurately because some of them don't understand that you only apply per diem when you're away from your tax home overnight. And I think it's important that they understand how to apply per diem accurately. And the last one is to choose the right entity based on real profit. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, if anybody wants to reach out to you, how do they contact you?
Yeah, they can reach out. My phone number is 346-546-9328. We also offer complimentary free consultation at www.shankscpa.com. And I'm here if they need any help, if they need to get their number right, if they need visibility, clarity of control, and also if they need to scale confidently.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Teresa. I learned today. I'm going to go look at my cash flow statement starting tomorrow.
Thank you, Patty. Please do. Please do.
I
Stop
will.
looking at
got
your
that.
bank account. That's not your cash flow.
To look at the bank account so I can make sure we got enough money to cover the fuel
Yeah.
for the week.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Thank you for having me on your show, and I'll definitely would love to be part of the training and educate and help business owners, hustlers, like I like to call my clients, focus on the core business.
sure
And
will. Don't worry. I've already put it out there. I got your name on my list as well too. Thank you, everyone.
bye bye.